Hi everyone, Joe March here, also known as Sorcerer, and since it's getting near the new year, I felt like it was a good time to clean up my ridiculously overcrowded playlist section on my channel. So let's do that together. Of course, for now, we're going to leave this Sorcerer's Hangout section the way it is. That is the new stuff. 12 videos that have come out since I changed the format of this channel to be more of a hangout spot, and I think they deserve to stick together in one spot for the moment. As you can see, I got a ton of other playlists on here, which could be confusing for people. So for those who don't know, my old channel's content is here too, but my old channel's content is unlisted to YouTube. So you can't search for my old channel's content. You can only find it in the playlist. And I've always said for those people who want to be nostalgic and go back and watch the old content because they were fans of the old channel, it's in the playlist. But here's the thing. You can see here we got, where is it? Where does it start? Here we go. Sorcerer Lectures, which is like the oldest stuff. This is the original website. First, how many are on here? 57 videos. We got our Get to Know a Deity from the old website. That's over here. We got our Better Life Through Magic. That was another like side set of videos I made back in that time period. We got Psycho Theory, which was another like side set of videos from that time period. We got The Meaning of Everything, which is the videos that came out after these lectures. And then we got Psycho Sorcerer Interviews and Q&A, which is interviews I did on the channel. We got the Grand Infinity Casual Conversations, which is the 22 different interviews I did on the Grand Infinity channel when I changed the name of the channel to Grand Infinity. And we got our Grand Infinity videos, which is the 22 videos I made on that channel before that whole site went down. So all of that is technically the old site. And it made sense to leave them in their own separate playlists back when I first put this all up here, because at that time period, I was just like, okay, everybody wants to see this stuff, fine. I'll put it up there. I'll leave it in these different categories so people can understand what's what and look for them. But I didn't really have a new identity for this channel at that time yet. Now I got all these other things. I got like Psycho Mind, which was a patrons only thing that got moved over here. I got Occult Topics, which are the occult topics that have happened since being on my new channel. I got my Google Search the Game, which is a fun game. I got Life, Wisdom, and Rants. That's mostly what my channel was for a long time, is just rants and stuff. I got The History of the Kildor, which is a reading of the book, The History of the Kildor, that I wrote. I got my Cringe Music, which is all my songs. We got our Reggie and PP Sorcerer videos, which is 41 videos that are all skits of Reggie and PP Sorcerer. We got an archived My Transition Out Then Back Into a Cult, which is what happened. This is like the story and experience and videos from what happened between this old channel and the new channel. We got my Archive 2020 rants, which were the old rants on the channel back during this time period. Like, it's kind of a mess. Like, all of this stuff is stuff people might want to see, but it's kind of a mess. No, the old channel videos are unlisted because even though I think they were good for their time, and I know that they inspired some people to get into magic and stuff like that, I still feel like the videos on their own didn't do a good job of being safe for the average consumer, because I kind of made them thinking you'd watch them in order originally, and if you don't, you kind of could just bumble into something dangerous. So that's why they're unlisted now. Only people who know where they are can go find them. And my views on magic and the occult and stuff have changed since back then. This is kind of like a very foundational level thing. So what I'm thinking primarily to start is that I want to take all these old channel videos and make them one playlist, because I think it'd be easier if anybody's a fan of the old channel at this point, because now it's been gone years and you're looking for that, just make it one playlist so you can find everything there. So I'm going to condense these into one for sure, but then we're going to go back and figure out how to condense some of these other things. Obviously Cringe Music's going to keep its own playlist. Obviously History of the Kildor is its own playlist. Those make sense as their own playlist. But like, should this historical, all the stuff where I was an atheist stuff be its own playlist? Separate from the rants from the same year? Separate from the wisdom and rants from the years after? Should Psycho Mind be its own playlist, even though it's really just more of this transition? I don't think so. We're going to have to merge some of these things together. And basically, like, I think Psycho Mind and either of these ones that say archive, I believe all the videos in them are also unlisted, so they fall under that same category. So what I'm thinking is old videos playlist, right? Like old channel playlist, and then old videos playlist, like a certain year time, like archived playlist. And then we can do maybe another playlist where the things aren't archived, but they're like older. And then we'll keep our Psycho Sorcerer 2.0 occult knowledge, because this one's great. This is like, if you want to know anything I believe about the occult, it's in these 29 videos. You don't need any of the rest of these videos. So, I don't know. I'm gonna clean it up. That's the point. The point is we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna go a little down memory lane while we do it. Now, if this sounds like a boring thing to listen to or watch, you don't need to watch the rest of it. This is just, I wanted to do this, and I felt like it'd be a good video for the holidays where everybody's away anyway. And if you're watching this and you're going, this isn't the playlist I'm seeing, of course it isn't, because I already cleaned it up because this is a pre-recorded video. You're not watching me do it live. This video happened in the past. But still, I'm making this video in between trips for the holidays, and the video itself will probably come out like the week of New Year's, like the day before or the day before that, somewhere in there, like of New Year's 2025 going into 2026. So if you're watching this from the far future, which that makes absolutely no sense, well, maybe you just want to hear the weird commentaries that come up. So as I move stuff from one playlist to another, I'm not going to make you watch all of it here. I'm obviously going to skip some parts, but if I start saying anything interesting that I'm thinking of as I'm looking at these old videos, I'll leave that stuff in. So we're going to have a video that's just like me doing this and whatever thoughts come to mind. And with that said, let's get into it, as the old Freighter Xavier would say. So, Psycho Sorcerer Lectures is obviously the first videos. So back in the day, this would be, number one here is literally the first video I ever made on the old channel. It's my first YouTube video ever. And then they go down in order. And these ones are in order. This is the old things. This is the lectures I wanted to tell everybody about, all my old magic stuff. With sources, all that stuff. I think this still stays the beginning. It's the foundation. And I think it stays in this order. We got our first 57 videos. But instead of just calling it Psycho Sorcerer Lectures, because I don't think, no, that's not what I want. I'm going to edit this. Edit. Instead of calling it this, let's call it Old Site Psycho Sorcerer Archive. Right? Old Site Psycho Sorcerer Archive. Oh, we got description too. This is a collection of my videos from my old occult channel. Simple. It's public. Voting is off. But the videos inside of it are unlisted, meaning that you can find them through this playlist, but you can't search YouTube to find them individually, which is how I want it, because again, I don't want people watching these randomly in any old order. If you're diehard enough to come in and listen to all this old content, then you're ready for whatever's in there, and you understand that it's not my current beliefs, but it's still a resource you can use. If you're not someone who knows all that stuff, I don't want you watching them anyway. So that's kind of the gist. And it's in a manual order. I like that, because that means what I add is going to come in at the bottom, because it comes in the order that I put them in. That's perfect. All right, so now it's Old Site Psycho Sorcerer Archive. That's great. I think the next thing we do after the lectures, because these lectures are going to start, they start with like the simplest stuff, introduction to what is magic and the occult, how to do spell casting, rituals and breathing, all that type of stuff. And then as you go in, they get like sex magic and what I believe, and 5 things that happen when you practice the occult. I was doing this stuff back then, like 5 things that this, 10 things that was big on YouTube back in the day. Tulpas, Tritaka, like different subjects. And then you get down to the end and we're like, Psycho Sorcerer, candid discussion of Tiamat's truth. Psycho Sorcerer, the only method you need to do all magic. Like we're at the end down here where it's like, okay, we've covered all this stuff. Here's all you need, etc. Blah, blah, blah. It's a good close. This playlist, honestly, is a good, solid playlist, but we're adding to it anyway. But I think after you do all these lectures, if you were to watch all these, we need a break from lectures for a while. We're not jumping right into Grand Infinity stuff. I think we got to jump into the other stuff. And Get to Know a Deity was my most popular stuff back in the day, because this is just me saying, like, Let's talk about Enlil Enki. Let's talk about Shamash. Let's talk about Nergal. Let's talk about Marduk or Maratuk. Let's talk about Ninhursag. You know, like let's learn who Ishtar is. All these things are like little videos on the different deities. Mostly, for the most part, they were Babylonian until we get down here and they start changing a little. And this is where I kind of fell off of doing it, because really I was interested in it up here. But let's start adding these bad boys over. We're going to say save to a playlist. All right. If we refresh this bad boy, 57 videos is what I had before, now it is 72. There should be 15 new ones down here. You can see they go right from these right into this. Ishtar, Enki and Enlil, Shamash, Nergal, Marduk, Ninhursag, Ereshkigal, Sin, Nabu, Tiamat, of course, Osiris, the Morgan, Hecate, Thor, and Paimon, because we got to get to know a demon at the end. Paimon, my boy. Alright, so that's cool. Now that those are there and I know they're there, I can delete this playlist. And we got one less on here. And now let's refresh, we see our new name here. Old site, Sorcerer Archive, sweet. Alright, so these two, to me, Psychotheory and Better Life Through Magic, are not that great. But they're still history of the old site, so we're not getting rid of anything, guys. We never delete unless there's a real reason, unless there's like some YouTube making you delete something. So after get to know a deity, let's do some psychotheory. Let's talk about just theories that don't really mean a lot of anything. I like that as the next thing you go into at that point. Is the world an illusion? Like, this seems like the cool stuff to talk about at this point. Why not? Oh, nope, I saved it to watch later. That's not where I wanted it. There we go. Are there only 3 types of emotion? No, there's not. I can't see that right now. No, there isn't. This was an old idea I had. Is the Illuminati a false flag organization? These were like bait to get people to watch the site back in the day. What is a past life experience? I still ask this question. Gnosticism and the Demiurge. This one was actually a good video for people who'd never been exposed to that before, because I've learned a lot more about this topic since here, but I know a lot of people who were interested in this topic because of this video back in the day. Let's see. Pantheism. That's a good one, actually. The Veil. I don't even remember what I'm talking about in that one. The debate results in more about the Veil. Whatever. I probably did some kind of psycho pop sorcerer thing in that one, if I remember. Spirit cooking. This was a topic at the time about a lady that did some artwork or something that was getting in the headlines. So, again, not really an important one. And are we misusing the word God? I have come back to this thing over and over again. Not watch the video, but I mean like that question. So, 10 videos. We're at 72, and I refresh this thing. It should be at 82. Yeah, 82. And we see the order is still good. We got our get to know deities, and then we get into these psychotheories, right? Cool. Good. Now, psychotheory, the individual playlist can go away. So, Better Life Through Magic is obviously next. And that will complete all the ones that were on the channel back when it was called Psycho Sorcerer on the original channel. We got 14 videos here. These were more like me explaining how I use these different things, which I think is a good thing to ease back into at this point in the history if we're watching these in order, because it's about to move into the period of time known as the Grand Infinity, where the channel's name was changed. The Grand Infinity was just about me and my practice. It's where it changed from being a lecture-based thing to being about me and my practice. So it makes sense to ease through these and then ease into that new channel at that point. There's 14. Alright, so 14 more should put us at 96. 96, good. So we got all the original lectures, then we got the get to know deities, then we got these theories, and then we go into Better Life Through Magic, where we can talk about mantras, your best self, the best tools for spellcasting, being lucid, 1,000 subscribers, and that's when I got to 1,000 subscribers. That was my 1,000 video. Interest in Q&A, grimoires, fitness and magic, Fitness and Magic 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. This is when I was getting thin, which obviously is no longer the case, but I did get real thin for a while there. Draw My Life and thank you for 5,000 subscribers. This was when I got 5,000 subs on that channel, etc., down to My Ritual Tools and 10,000 subscribers. That's when I was at 10. I don't think I ever made a video for 20, but that's what I got to before closing that channel down for reasons, whatever. I was no longer comfortable with all of this that we're looking at right here being just available to any old person who searched for it without knowing what they were looking at. So I closed that whole thing down. I deleted it. I've since regretted the fact that I deleted it, because people have come to me since then and said, hey, just because some people watched some of these videos and did something stupid with their lives as a result doesn't mean all of us did, right? Some of us liked what you had there and were inspired, and that helped us go forward and investigate magic ourselves, and we're open enough thinkers and whatnot that we don't just assume everything you say is true, so you don't need to baby us by protecting us from this stuff. And those are the people who are welcome to come and watch this playlist. So I'm trying to have the best of both worlds now. It's like, hey, if you are those people and you want this content, come and watch it. If you aren't those people, it's not listed on regular YouTube, so you can't just search and accidentally find it. You have to come here on purpose if you're looking for this. I know I'm repeating myself with that, but at the same time, that is a very important thing to me. I was also fed up at the end of that channel with, I had several people I was trying to mentor directly online, and it just seemed like no matter what I told them, they just wouldn't actually take the practices seriously enough to have it change their lives, and it kind of drove me off of the whole I want to teach thing altogether. Kind of pushed that out. It made me start to understand the reason that a lot of other people who have written occult books back in the past say, don't cast pearls before swine. I know that's a Christian saying, but still, like, that type of thing. Not to say those people were swine, but like what it really means is if someone's not ready to learn the lesson, you can't teach it to them. And it's not like if they're ready to learn the lesson, they'll find a teacher. Like, it's different. And you don't need to be an online guru or something. Like, I was tired of all of that. I didn't want to be that. I don't want to be a cult leader. I don't want to be a guru. I don't want to be any of that stuff. Like, I got a level of narcissism because here I'm on YouTube at all, but that level is not at cult leader guru level. I don't want to be the teacher. I don't want to be the guru. I don't want to be any of that stuff. I just want to be able to express myself somewhere, because self-expression is important to me. So now we got a complicated question. So Grand Infinity is what at this point in the channel, we changed the name to Grand Infinity. We have Grand Infinity videos. Those were the videos from then. We have these casual conversations, which are interviews. We still have these old Psycho Sorcerer interviews from before I changed the channel name. And we have these meaning of everything videos where I was getting pretentious and thinking I knew everything. And these are kind of not even that great in my opinion. So I guess maybe let's do these meaning of everything ones, because it'll move in. Well, let's do the Psycho Sorcerer interviews, because this is still technically before I change the name of the channel. Let's do that. I don't necessarily love that flow, but it kind of makes sense. So keep everything chronologically in order. So let's do this. My buddy Angel. No, we're not saved to watch later. I keep doing this. I'll go clear those out later. Shindo. Asher. It's interesting to see these and be like, these are people I've kept up with. These are literally people I would, most of them at least, are people I would consider still friends. So that's pretty neat. And they were people I interviewed, but people that I befriended over time. So it's like, well, this is cool to see. Like, these are the people I was talking to. That makes sense. I don't think I've kept up with Shindo, but everyone else here I would consider who have kept up with, still be friends with, etc. So these are 5 videos, very easy. Should be 101, right? Yep, 101. And down at the bottom you can see we got our, after these we got our Q&A and all of this stuff, right? Yeah, great. Wonderful. All the Psycho Sorcerer channel videos are together. I think we're going to do the meaning of everything. Like I said, that's the next one. This stuff is a little off kilter, I think. Meaning of everything intro, magic as a lifestyle, astral defenses, dimensions and densities, instant magic, book recommendations, etc., absence, sorcerer's back. This is kind of just my trying to explain, like, here's how you live a magical lifestyle type of thing, which is, it's worth whatever it's worth. If you want to see what I thought it was like to live a magical lifestyle when I was earlier in the craft, that's this. This is not my views now, but I don't have anything against these views. Alright, so here they are. There we go. So right after these, we got these. That's perfect. Everything can go bye-bye. Alright, see, this is looking beefier now. Now we got 108 videos in the old site, Psycho Sorcerer Archive. I like this better. Already feeling better about people being able to find what they want. I know it'd be hard to search for all these videos if you're looking for a specific video, but that's not really what this is about. So, you know, I mean, if you really want an old video from back then and you know what it is, you're a fan to a level that, like, you know, you're probably just happy they're here somewhere. And honestly, at that point, you know, if you have a scraping tool to pull them down, feel free to copy them. Do whatever it is you do. Grand Infinity Casual Conversations, Grand Infinity Videos. So now I'm torn on this one because I feel like most of these videos came out first. And then I switched it to a Casual Conversations interview channel for a long time. But also the last video on here is probably the one where I left, the one where I like freaked out and deleted the channel, which you would want at the end, right? So maybe I need to do half of these, all of these, the rest of these, something like that. Let's take a look. Changes to the channel, nature, the Morgan, is magic unsafe, evocation, accepting your will. Yeah, these are all good. Yeah, and finale. This is the end. Creativity, the false graph, the unreal that represents truth explained, meditation, and altered states of mind. Why transition from psychological to spiritual? This is another thing to recognize. When it was called Psycho Sorcerer, I was doing what was called the psychological model of magic, where I viewed it all as psychology. So the early videos are all like just what old magic books say, what the different processes are, what the different traditions are, and then it turns into my psychological way of looking at things. It's very psychological delve. And then when you get to Grand Infinity, I'd gone through some things where I was believing at that point that it's all spiritual. I was like, whoa, I was wrong. This is spiritual. And so these all kind of rewrite the same lessons, but through a spiritual lens. And what I believe now is that both of those ways of even questioning it are wrong, that it's like a bigger, more interconnected thing than that. So when I look at these, it's like both of these feel like simplistic ways to view it, which again is why I'm like, I don't feel a need to go back to these videos personally, but I can see how they would actually help if you were brand new to this stuff. So like, it would be confusing for someone new to not know that like it starts out very psychological and then it's going to shift into this very spiritual way of looking at it. And then my newer videos now shift into a whole different way of understanding this. But that's what happens in life. We transform, we grow, we change as we experience things. All right, so my life in darkness and light was a really pivotal point for me. This is after I went through a lot of stuff involving my shadow work and whatnot, and learned a bunch of what I was dealing with behind the scenes of the channel was fractured parts of myself, and I started bringing those back together, and this is kind of the whole story of that. It's an hour and 15 minutes, but I remember this is the turning point for me where I started to really understand that this is about self-growth, not about getting things, having stuff come to you, affecting the world, so to speak. Like, I started to understand things more here at this point. But this also is what eventually led me to kind of crash out and blow up the site, because everything before that now felt different. Everything was different, and I was going through this real time at that point in time. So it's a pivotal moment. This is also the first time that I believe the first time that I come out and kind of like give my own story and talk about myself instead of trying to lecture, which has become the style that I follow now, where I just talk about myself and the way things affect me. And this channel is much more personal than the old channel was. And so this really is like a change in me that happens at this point. And so I've kind of brought all of these videos up till then over here, right? And I think that's a good place to switch right here over to casual conversations. And then we'll put the rest of these videos that come after that in afterward. Although, the end of an era, our unique self, perception. Yeah, I think that's the perfect place to switch it. So these were 22 different conversations I had with people, and they were all viewers, where I was like, if you're a viewer and you want to come on here and talk about your experiences, let's do that. And that was a really exciting and interesting time. I thought these were a great period in what I was working on, but they are their own thing. They are literally me interviewing people who watched my stuff, but who also had their own takes on magic. So yeah, now if we look down here, here's all these casual conversations. And you can tell if you're going through the playlist, and when it gets down to where it starts saying casual conversation, these are all labeled in a way where it makes sense. And you can tell which ones are Grand Affinity videos because of this, compared to this. So like, yeah, I'm kind of happy with the way this list is looking all as one. Conversations can get deleted. We go back to Grand Infinity videos and we can continue from where were we? 6. My life in darkness and light. Oh, end of an era. And this is where you can see it's starting to come apart after that experience. Our unique selves. Look at this. Look what I'm starting to think about in this. Perception. See, these are you can kind of see where my mind is going at this point in my life. And because I'm starting to understand things here that I don't have experience talking about, I start feeling like I can't really keep this channel up anymore at that point. Success through acceptance and clarity. Journeying in my experiences in 2017, which tells you what year this is actually from. So even though this is on my current channel from 5 years ago, this actually is an older video, because these all got pulled in later, and that's why they all have the same 5-year ago stamp. That's when I made all these playlists. The order. Oh, well, this is actually the one where I talk about all the different pieces coming together. So the other one was like my life story and the shadow work, but this one is real in depth on some of the crazy stuff I experienced, where I had spoke to what I thought were different spirits, so they were different parts of myself. So that's very interesting. Some of these are like still real good, but out of context, they could be real confusing. Being sovereign, yeah, it makes sense to be the next thing I would be thinking about. My transition from psychological to spiritual. Alright. Meditation and altered states of mind. Yep. The unreal that represents truth explained through what? Through numbers. Oh yeah, I was a little pretentious with that one. Creativity in the Elithal's Grasp. This is where I start talking about how I actually make music on the side. I didn't have cringe music out back then or anything. I really didn't share a lot about my real personality on these old videos. But this is where I was starting to get that way, but then I kind of crash out, like I said. When I come back with a new channel, it's just my personality. It's more unfiltered. Save to playlist. And the finale, where I crash out completely. Yeah, so if you ever want to see my crash out at the end of the old channel, it's going to be at the end of the list, which makes sense. This should be 12 more, which would give us a total of 152. Yeah, 152. So yeah, now if you go, now if you go to the bottom of this 152 list, you got the finale. If you want to see me go in here, just crash out and delete my channel, that's that one. So everything from its glorious beginning to its splendid end of the old channel, back when I was an occult icon for a hot minute, exists now in one single playlist. That's right, I can get rid of this one. Right, so now already this is looking better just from doing that. But here we go, old site, Psycho Sorcerer archive. There you go, 152 videos. If anybody wants to see that stuff, all one thing now. All right, great. What's next? I think our other archives we got to look at. My transition out, then back into the occult. This is interesting in my 2020 rants. So 2020 is when the new channel came in. And you can see it was like 2017-ish is when the old channel went out. So we got the new channel stuff here and here and here. I feel like these three kind of go together, except these are funny and these are serious. So maybe old site, Psycho Sorcerer archive. I feel like Psycho Mind can be part of this for sure. I think, yeah, let's look at this real quick. Let's go down memory lane for a second. Reggie interviews Joseph March why he left the occult. That's really how we're starting this? Because I did at one point. So when this channel first started, I was an atheist at that point. I had left all the occult behind because I went through what I would call like a dark night of the soul. And I've talked about this on this channel before, where I tried to reach some sort of higher echelon through the spiritual alone model, and it crashed out on me. I crashed to the bottom of that and had to work my way through nihilism and existentialism to find what I believed and cared about. What I didn't realize is that was supposed to happen as part of that process. I just saw that as like I had left the occult behind and was doing this now. And then through the course of the year or two on this channel, where other stuff was happening, I re-found the occult and started to see it in a new way, where I started to understand, like, oh, I was supposed to experience that because that was letting go of all that like egoic stuff that I used to hold on to. And I started to see all of this as allegory in a way that I hadn't before, and the whole thing changes for me. And so these videos are just me. These are like me talking about transition from faith to existentialism. This is me moving from the spiritual model into existentialism. Q&As with me talking about different stuff, having some conversations with occultists still, even though I'm not in that. Growing my beard out at this point in time. How our memory sucks and we can't trust it. How we're all gonna die and we need to like get over our existential dread. This stuff is, it's more like atheist existentialist content, but it's still good for getting through that nihilistic period and finding what's going on the other side. And eventually down here you see it gets to, am I an occultist? Well, look at this. Now I'm starting to talk about, wait, I still use a lot of these practices, but just in a different way. What's going on here? Do I still count as an occultist? And then, society overcoming nature and religions and mythology, cursing, tingling feelings. I'm starting to talk about like, okay, I still do a lot of these things. A lot of who I am came from these practices, and I've been ignoring that. And this is where I'm starting to wake up to that fact. And then, was I wrong about magic and the occult? So this is literally all the videos where I'm talking about atheism, existentialism, etc., leading up to where I start to turn back around and rejoin these practices. So yes, they should be separate from the other videos on my channel, but I think we can merge in the Psycho Mind videos as well, because these are my Patreon only videos that I had for a while, where I start talking about different things that is this even the same one? No. Where I started talking about different things that are making me go, wait a minute, maybe I am an occultist, which led to those other videos. So I'm going to throw these at the end. It'll be weird if you're watching these to like get to here and be like, that's a great place to end it, and then all of a sudden be like, hey, we're starting from the beginning again and doing stuff. But they're at least explained as being Psycho Mind here, so I think that'll make sense. Good. All right. So those are all added in here. Now, to make this kind of match my other one, let's put archive at the end. archive. Title, my transition out then back into the occult archive. Yes, they're all together. Videos from my new channel when it first started. When I was an atheist, until I refound the occult. I think that's good. Save. So, theoretically, if I refresh this thing, well, actually, I gotta get rid of, where was it? Psychomind. Anyway, so now, here we go. My transition out, then back into the occult archive. Cool. So we have old site, we got that. That makes sense. Now, down here, this thing, awesome, and shamanism, these are private. Those are private, so these only I see. You won't see those. I don't need to worry about that. This is every time I see a video that I think is worth saving in case, because it makes me think of something cool and I might want to rewatch it about anything relating to the occult. I got 110 of those saved over here. And this one is any other awesome thing that I may want to find again. And 26 of those. But these are for me. These are my private videos. Those are not on the site. Don't need to worry about them. Reggie and PP Sorcerer is a hilarious skit series that I did beginning to end. I am happy that it is over, but I also enjoyed it the whole way through. This will stay its own playlist probably forever. So this one's done. Cringe music is where I put every one of my music tracks because I understand that for most people that music is cringe, but I also like making it. So every song ends up in there. So that's an ongoing playlist. History of Kildor is the book I wrote. Fiction lore book for the role-playing game system that I made, and all 52 videos are on there, and they make sense to be their own thing too. So all these videos down here we don't need to worry about. So we're up here. GitHub is another private one. That just has to do with stuff I save for work. And this War Report, that's how you say it, not War Report, is an unlisted set of videos that are for a D&D campaign that I did. And the people who are in that campaign got to see those videos, but they will not show up on this list either. So really what we've got here is these ones, these four, this one, and then this one, and these 6 over here. So we're looking at these 6 and this one. So we got our 2020 rants. This is the beginning of the new channel, not having to do with occultism and atheism, just the rants and funny stuff I did. We got Google Search the Game, which was a funny skit that happened on the game, on the show channel for a while, but there's only 3 of them. I think I thought I was going to do this a lot more. So I think we can real easily merge these in with these because the rants are just funny as well. It's like 20 funny video or 30 funny videos. Let's just add 3 more funny videos to those. That's pretty easy. So now I go to my archive 2020 rants, view full playlist. Now that I've done that, I should have 33. That's right. We got these extra ones down here. Now, let's change the name of this one to edit. Say, hey, I was not done. All right, so we're just gonna call this Rants and Funny Videos Archive, because from my point of view, if it's in the archive, it means it's old, and I don't think that's hard for people to get. I don't need to specify these are from 2020. These are my old Rants and Funny videos. This is the archive of Rants and Funny videos that are no longer like shared to YouTube again. They're probably unlisted at this point just because that's no longer what the site is, but here they are. If you want to see my old Rants and Funny videos from back in the COVID era, they are here. Joe rants about the world and does silly stuff. Perfect. Save. Let me come back here. We have moved these so I can delete this, and we will see the new name. Rants and Funny Videos Archive. Perfect. So yeah, so all these are good. This is good. This is good. All right. So, life, wisdom, and rants. Let's think about this. think about a few things. We got gaming up here. What's in the gaming one? Open link a new tab. Gaming is, there's only 2 videos. It's the 2 times that I did solo RPG. It's its own kind of separate thing on the channel that isn't like anything else I do, but at the same time, this has 1.3 thousand views. People liked this video more than any other video I did on the channel. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I guess these should probably go into just funny videos, right? Like the archive. I think that's fine. I don't think there's anyone that needs to find these 2 videos. I don't know why I closed it, like I didn't need to. I think there's anyone that needs to find these 2 videos on their own. Ran some funny videos. Archive? Yes. And save to playlist. Ran some funny videos archive. I think they're fine. And they are funny because like this I'm playing as the characters from Reggie and PP Sorcerer and stuff like that. So like, yeah, I think they're fine to be added to this one. Make it 35 videos? Yeah. And they are another old thing from the site from back before. I think that's good. That gets rid of another playlist. There we go. It's already looking better, guys. Especially if you ignore these 2. Ignore these 2. You're looking at a tighter number of options when someone comes in here. Cringe music, yep. So, life, wisdom, and rants, occult topics. Those are going to be the hard ones. So, like Psycho Sorcerer 2.0, this is a solid playlist of what I believe now in the occult. If you want to know everything I have to say about the occult currently, Psycho Sorcerer 2.0, which is the name of the channel, you got what is even down to what is the occult and stuff. I went over everything again from beginning to end and all the weird stuff I believe now and some interviews and stuff. This is all my occult stuff since getting back into the occult and then pivoting into understanding it in a new way. This is what this is. Now, how is that different, you might ask, from this occult topics one? Occult topics is before that. This is where, was I wrong, right? Here we're picking up where we left off. Was I wrong about magic and the occult? Letting go of the past, the teacher, responsibility, celebration, etc., etc. I'm not a teacher. Shadows and spirits, apparitions. And actually, as I'm thinking about this, this is me, this is the other end of that. That transition from being an atheist going back into the occult. This is getting all the way back, and this one is where I put the old occult videos back on my channel. I made them available to everyone, right? So actually, these kind of make sense in that same archive as the next thing after Psychomind. It's like, here's like, first we're going to do all my atheist videos, then we're doing where I was trying to decide if I was going back into the occult, and then these are my first ventures back into the occult afterward. So let's make that all part of the same playlist. I think that transition from atheism to occultism should include these. All right. So now this one is 67 videos, which I think is better, because this is a better archive. So yeah, all the time I was an atheist, into explaining existentialism, into starting to believe that I maybe had more to do with occultism affecting who I am as a person all along, to starting it up again, to the specific videos where you can see me piecing that together, and then on into the videos where I start entering into the occult again and talking about what I learned by merging these 2 realities together. This no actualized self that doesn't rely upon anything else in order to understand who I am, with occult practices again, and finding like a very good place to be in life by doing that. And we got all that and some silly videos in here as well. What would Balg do? You know, that's always a fun one. And then here's where I bring my old account channel back. So this is actually a great explanation of what the channel used to be. This is like an archive of all the occult related content on the channel before now, right? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so now this one is 67 videos. This one's 152 videos. These old ones are 35 videos. We got 60 songs. We got these are all like beefy playlists now for if you want to find stuff. Now, This is the new stuff. I like it being its own thing. This is the latest occult stuff. This is the actual wisdom after I've experienced getting back into it and start having some real gnosis here. Life, wisdom, and rants. What is in here? This is the last one. It's about my book called Tier List, ChatGPT. This is like fun stuff. God is the Moment, Castlemania stream, new career. This is like regular stuff. This is like me being me, which is more like what the channel is like right now. I kind of like this as its own thing. I think I might leave this. Here's me and my son. Like, this is like, you want to get, I don't care what you think about pickles. This is like, if you really want to get into like me as a person, that's this one, right? So I think that's good. So we got Sorcerer's Hangout, which is the newest stuff. We had Occult Knowledge, which is while I was taking things seriously for a good year to 2 years here and talking about what I've learned in the occult overall. And I think this is all you need if you want that info. These are private, so you don't worry about that. We got Life, Wisdom, and Rants. So that's if you're like, hey, I want to see the old Sorcerer's Hangout style stuff, but not what's new. This is the old version of that. This is what the channel was kind of like. And then we get into our like an archive of older, funnier videos, an archive of my old channel, an archive of my period of transition back here. And then we have some active playlists. Well, this is the History That Killed Our Book, which, you know, it just sits back here. Anyone who wants that is there. But then and then Reggie, for anyone who wants to go back and watch the old skits, they're there. And then Cringe Music, which is an active one. I like this. I think this is right. So now that we have that, we go back to home.
Hi everyone, Joe March here.
Hey, shut up, Joe March. All right, so yes, we're going to have this as the main thing. Live Hangout, sure. For you, it's going to curate whatever it thinks you need to watch. Videos, that's my latest videos. That's good. Multiple playlists. All right, so here I actually get to pick which playlist can be seen. Sorcerer's Hangout makes sense. Psycho Sorcerer 2.0 is definitely the next one I want you to see. Cringe Music's definitely next. Do I want Reggie and Life and Wisdom to be the other two? That's the question. These three are definitely the top three. Life and Wisdom makes more sense than an archive for sure. I think these are the top four. Let's go back and look at these. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. These are archived. You could kind of think of those as, yeah, all the rest is archived. Yeah, I think that's right. So if you come on the homepage.
Hi everyone, Joe March here.
Shut up, Joe March. Yeah, Sorcerer's Hangout, Psycho Sorcerer 2.0, Cringe Music, Life, Wisdom, and Rants, Reggie and PP Sorcerer. Because even though this one's not active anymore, that's still, a lot of people are here for that, honestly. Yeah, I like it. Don't look at me like that, Joe. So I hope you enjoyed this walk through memory lane while I corrected all of my stuff and fixed this up. Actually, I should probably change this too. I'm about to do an outro, and it's like an active channel of videos, projects by Joseph March, Psycho Sorcerer, and an archive. Oh, I mean, this is really what it is. An archive of the videos produced by Joseph March previously. Not all are visible on the main page. Check the playlist section for all the typically unlisted videos. All right, you know, that's fair. That's fine. Psycho Sorcerer, that's fine. I'm not changing that today. 959 subscribers. When did this happen? Last time I paid attention to my subscriber count, I was at 700 and something. I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers again. I have to do a 1,000 subscriber video. We're going to go back to 2016 where I did 1,000 subscriber video. I don't know how to feel about that. I kind of like us being a small community. I kind of like that the channel is like its own little thing. Because last time what happened when I had my old channel, it stayed like this for like 3 years, I think. And then once I hit 1,000, it just started to skyrocket. It's like YouTube knows that you have 1,000 subscribers now, and it goes, oh, I'll show you to more people. So I don't know. I mean, I don't make as good a content. My content is no longer like something that's aimed at pulling people in, so it probably won't rocket up at that point. But there's a part of me that's like, do I need to worry about this channel getting bigger? Well, I guess a good thing I fixed my playlist then. But what can I do here? Here's the comments. If anybody made it this far into this video, in the comments below, tell me what you want me to do for my 1,000 subscriber video if and when that happens. I say if and when because you never know, like, YouTube could, like, yank a bunch of subs off me or something and I won't actually get there. But let's assume that I get another 41 subscribers over the course of next year sometime. What would you guys like to see for my 1,000 subscriber video? Because I got no idea. I already made 1,000, a 5,000, a 10,000 back in the day. You guys know everything about me at this point if you've been watching that long. What's left? What do you guys want? What's the hey, thanks for 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to all you 1,000 subscribers. What would you guys want to see? Leave that in the comments below. And until next time, safe travels.